At my wedding, my mother-in-law stood up and sneered, "This poor boy thinks he can provide for my daughter, pathetic." My wife just laughed. I said nothing. But this morning my phone blew up with 13 missed calls. I never thought I'd be sharing this on Reddit, but after the events of this morning I need to get this off my chest. My wife Eva and I got married last Saturday. We kept it relatively modest, rented a local venue, invited around 80 people. Nothing extravagant but still nice. Eva looked stunning in her dress and everything was going perfectly until the wedding toasts began. Some context: I run my own auto repair shop. It's not glamorous, but I've built it from scratch over the last 5 years. Eva is a research assistant at the local hospital. We're not rich, but we're comfortable and happy. My mother-in-law Becky, however, has always looked down on me because I work with my hands and didn't go to college. During the toasts, my best friend Santiago had just finished his speech when Becky grabbed the microphone. She'd been drinking champagne all evening and I could tell by her face this wasn't going to be good. Eva squeezed my hand under the table. "I'd like to say something about our happy couple," Becky announced, her voice dripping with sarcasm. The room went quiet. You know, when Eva first brought Daryl home, I thought it was just a phase. I mean, really, a mechanic. But here we are 3 years later and my daughter is actually marrying him. People started shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Eva's sister Haven looked mortified. "This poor boy thinks he can provide for my daughter. Pathetic." Becky's voice rose. Eva had such potential. She could have married someone successful, someone with a real career. Instead, she's settling for a grease monkey who probably can't even afford a decent house without a mortgage. I stayed calm, but I could feel my jaw clenching. Eva stood up so fast her chair fell backward. "How dare you?" Eva shouted. "Daryl built his business from nothing. He owns his shop outright and we just bought our house with the money he saved. He works harder than anyone I know, including you, Mom. All you do is sell overpriced houses and drink wine at lunch." The room erupted. Eva's dad Lawson, who's divorced from Becky, started slow clapping. "Classic Becky," he muttered loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "Always making everything about status." Becky wasn't done. "Oh please, his little garage. I drove past it yesterday, barely any cars there. Probably because people in town know better than to trust their vehicles to someone who learned from YouTube videos instead of proper schooling." That's when I noticed something odd. Several guests were looking at their phones, whispering. Santiago caught my eye and mouthed, "Check your phone." I had 13 missed calls, all from different clients, all within the last hour. "You want to talk about my business, Becky?" I stood up slowly, my voice steady. "Funny you should mention it being empty yesterday." "No." "Why?" "Because we were closed for my wedding weekend." "But since you brought it up, how many of my customers have you been talking to? Because suddenly they're all calling me about concerns they've supposedly heard about my work." Becky's face went white. Brittany, her best friend and real estate partner, suddenly found her plate very interesting. Eva was scrolling through her phone now, her face getting redder by the second. "Mom, why are there posts in the neighborhood Facebook group questioning Daryl's certification? Posts from your account?" I was just trying to protect you," Becky stammered. "He's going to drag you down to his level, living paycheck to paycheck, never advancing in life." Haven stood up next. "Mom, stop. Everyone knows Daryl's shop is the most trusted in town. You're just mad because he refused to undervalue his house when you tried to be our realtor." The wedding photographer was catching all of this. Good. I wanted evidence. "Becky," I said calmly, "I've stayed quiet about a lot of things out of respect for Eva, but you just showed everyone exactly who you are. And now I don't feel the need to stay quiet anymore." Eva's cousin started recording on his phone. Becky noticed and shrieked, "Don't you dare film me. This is a private family matter." "Private?" I laughed. "Like those public Facebook posts you made about my business? Or the calls you've been making to my clients?" I held up my phone showing the missed calls. "You've made this very public, Becky. And now you get to deal with the consequences." The wedding continued after Becky stormed out, followed by a very apologetic Brittany. The rest of the night was actually amazing. People kept coming up to express their support, and Eva's dad gave an impromptu toast about how proud he was to have me as a son-in-law. But this morning my phone exploded with messages. Turns out Becky's been busy for weeks, systematically contacting my clients with concerns about my business. She even tried to get my shop certification reviewed by making false complaints. The thing is, she has no idea what she started. I've built my reputation through hard work and honesty. She built hers through fake smiles and social climbing. Let's see which one lasts longer. Eva's fully on board with what I'm planning. After seeing those Facebook posts, she said, "Destroy her, babe. I'll help. I'll update when there's more to share. Right now I need to return some calls and start documenting everything. Becky wants to play games with my livelihood. Game on. Update section. Thanks for all the support on my last post. A lot has happened since the wedding disaster, and you guys were right, it wasn't just about one nasty comment. What I've discovered in the past week makes my blood boil. Quick recap. My mother-in-law Becky stood up at our wedding reception and basically called me a broke loser who couldn't provide for her daughter Eva. I stayed quiet then, but my phone blew up with calls afterward. Well, now I know why. So yesterday I'm at my office going through some emails when my friend Santiago walks in. He looks uncomfortable, which is weird because this guy's usually the most laid-back person I know. He sits down and says, "Bro, we need to talk about your mother-in-law." Turns out Becky's been going around town telling everyone my business is failing. But that's not even the worst part. She's been actively contacting my clients, warning them about financial irregularities in my company. Santiago heard it from his cousin, who was about to sign a contract with us but backed out last minute. I felt my hands shaking as I opened my laptop and started checking my recent cancellations. 5 major contracts, all pulled out within the last month. All of them had dealt with Becky's real estate agency for their... Eva was furious. She immediately called her sister Haven on speaker. Haven broke down and admitted everything. Becky had been planning this for months. She'd been spreading rumors about my business at every family gathering, every real estate meeting, every country club event. She even told Haven's fiancé to reconsider his investment in my company. We decided to confront Becky at the weekly family dinner. Big mistake. The moment we walked in, I could tell she knew something was up. Eva didn't even wait for everyone to sit down. She just pulled out her phone and started playing a voice recording Haven had sent her. Becky talking trash about me to a potential client. Becky's face went from fake smile to rage in seconds. She started screaming about how she was protecting her daughter and how I was beneath their family. Eva shouted back that Becky was just jealous because her own business was struggling while mine was growing. That's when Becky dropped the bomb. She'd been collecting evidence of my shady business practices and threatened to expose me if we didn't end our marriage. I stood up slowly. The room went quiet. I looked Becky straight in the eyes and said, "You really want to play this game? Because I promise you, you won't like how it ends." She sneered and said I was threatening her. Eva's dad Lawson, who's usually super quiet, suddenly spoke up. "Becky, you're making the same mistakes you made with me. Stop it." Becky threw her wine glass at the wall and stormed out. On the drive home, Eva was shaking with anger. "End this," she said. "End her whole career if you have to. I'm done with her games." I spent all night making calls. Turns out Becky's reputation in the real estate world isn't as spotless as she pretends. Her partner Brittany was especially interested in our conversation. Seems like Becky's been keeping some interesting secrets from her too. This morning I registered a new business. By next month there's going to be a new real estate agency in town. Brittany's coming on board as my partner. We're going to take every client, every listing, every contract that Becky thinks is safely hers. The best part? It's all perfectly legal. She wanted to play business. Let's play. I know this might seem petty to some people, but when someone tries to destroy everything you've built, you don't just roll over. You hit back harder. Eva's blocked her mom on everything. Haven's sending us all the dirt she has on Becky's business practices. Even Lawson called to give me some interesting information about how Becky operates. The calls that blew up my phone after the wedding. Those were clients calling to warn me about what Becky was saying. They're all coming back now with signed statements about how she tried to interfere with our contracts. This is just the beginning. Becky thinks she can bully us into submission. She has no idea what's coming. I've learned that sometimes the best revenge isn't some elaborate scheme. It's just giving someone enough rope to hang themselves with their own actions. I'll update when there's more to share. Right now I need to focus on setting up the new agency and making sure Becky learns why you don't mess with someone's livelihood. Update 2. Don't share this elsewhere. If you want to know what happened before, check my post history. Well, karma really is something else. It's been 3 weeks since my last update, and watching Becky's life unravel has been interesting. I promised Eva I wouldn't do anything illegal, and I haven't. I didn't need to. Becky's been doing a fantastic job of destroying herself. Remember how she stood up at our wedding and called me pathetic, called me a poor boy who couldn't provide for her daughter? Well, guess who just lost their biggest client because they couldn't keep their mouth shut about other people's finances? It started small. Santiago, my friend who works in local advertising, mentioned that Becky had been bad-mouthing me to anyone who would listen at the Chamber of Commerce meetings. She kept telling people I was living off her daughter's money and that my business was probably a front for something illegal. The irony. While she was running her mouth, I was quietly building relationships with the same people she was talking to. Then Haven, Eva's sister, came over last weekend. She was crying. Turns out Becky had been using Haven's social security number to open credit cards since Haven was 18. Haven only found out when she tried to get a car loan. Eva was livid. We spent the whole weekend helping Haven file reports and clean up her credit. Haven's staying with us now, and Becky's been blowing up everyone's phones, but here's where it gets good. Brittany, Becky's business partner of 15 years, came to my office yesterday. She'd found out Becky had been skimming from their shared commissions. Not huge amounts, but enough to be noticeable. When Brittany finally checked their books, she was furious and wanted advice about dissolving their partnership. I didn't have to do anything except listen and point her toward a good accountant. The real estate community here isn't huge. Word spreads fast. 3 of their biggest listings have already jumped ship to other agents. Becky doesn't know why yet, but she's been having screaming matches on her phone in public. Eva recorded one outside the grocery store where Becky was yelling about betrayal and ungrateful children. Eva's handling it better than I expected. When Becky showed up at her lab yesterday screaming about how we were poisoning the family against her, Eva just calmly walked her to the parking lot and told her, "Mom, you're having a mental break. Get help or don't contact me again." Lawson, Eva's dad, finally told us why he really left Becky 8 years ago. Apparently she'd been running the same credit card scam with his elderly mother's identity. He found out, forced her to pay it all back, and divorced her. He never told the kids because he didn't want them to hate their mother. Well, cat's out of the bag now. I did make one active move. I hired Brittany to handle the real estate side of my business expansion. She's actually fantastic at her job when she's not under Becky's thumb. We're opening 3 new locations next month, the same week Becky's office lease is up for renewal. The Chamber of Commerce meeting last night was interesting. Becky stood up to make some announcement about local business ethics, probably aimed at me, but nobody was listening. People were literally turning their backs and having their own conversations. She finally stormed out screaming about how we'd all regret this and how she made this town what it is. Haven showed me Becky's Facebook posts from this morning. She's writing these long rambling paragraphs about betrayal and how ungrateful children will learn their lesson. She's also been posting weird cryptic warnings about exposing the truth. Eva just laughs and says, "What truth?" That she's terrible with money and worse with secrets. I won't lie, watching her implode is satisfying. But the best part? I haven't had to lift a finger. She's doing all the work herself. Every time she opens her mouth she digs herself deeper. People are finally seeing what we've dealt with for years. Eva's extended family is divided. Half of them are calling us daily begging us to forgive and forget. The other half are coming forward with their own stories. Turns out she's been burning bridges way longer than we knew. The wildest part. She still thinks she can fix this by just bullying everyone into submission like she always has. Yesterday she sent a mass text to the entire family threatening to expose everyone's secrets at the next family gathering. Eva responded with a screenshot of Haven's credit report and asked, "You mean secrets like this, Mom?" Haven's been thriving since she moved in with us. She's already found a better job now that she doesn't have Becky constantly telling her she's not good enough. She's also started therapy, which is helping her process years of Becky's manipulation. Brittany's taking over most of Becky's old clients. Turns out a lot of them were just waiting for an excuse to switch. One of them told Brittany they stayed with Becky out of fear rather than loyalty. She knew too much about their personal business and would make subtle threats about exposing their finances. I know this all sounds dramatic, but this is what happens when someone spends decades building their life on lies and manipulation. It only takes one crack for everything to start falling apart. Eva's been going through old family photos trying to preserve the good memories before everything imploded. She found one from our wedding right before Becky's little speech. Everyone looks so happy. Eva says she wants to frame it to remember the exact moment Mom lost control of everything. I'm not going to pretend I'm not enjoying this. I am. But I'm also sad for Eva and Haven. They deserve a better mother than this. At least they have each other and they're finally free from her manipulation. The family reunion is next month. Becky's still insisting on hosting it even though half the family has already said they won't come if she's there. Eva suggested we host it instead. Haven's excited about the idea. It would be her first family event where she doesn't have to walk on eggshells. I'll update if anything major happens, but honestly I think this is pretty much the end of Becky's reign of terror. Not with a bang but with a series of self-inflicted wounds and burnt bridges. Final update. First, thank you all for the support on my previous posts. A lot has happened in the past 2 weeks and honestly I'm still processing everything. But you guys asked for an update, so here it is. Quick recap. I'm Daryl, 32M, married to Eva, 28F. My mother-in-law Becky humiliated me at our wedding, calling me pathetic and saying I couldn't provide for her daughter. Then she tried to sabotage my business. Well, karma finally caught up with her and I helped it along. Remember how I mentioned opening a competing business? Turns out Becky had been cutting corners with her real estate listings for years. She'd been photoshopping property photos, hiding major issues, and straight up lying to clients about property conditions. I knew this because 3 of her former clients came to me with horror stories. So I did what any pathetic son-in-law would do. I gave them my lawyer's number and helped them file formal complaints. But that was just the beginning. The real gold came from Brittany, Becky's business partner. She showed up at my office last Thursday looking nervous. Turned out Becky had been forging her signature on documents and pocketing commission splits. Brittany had proof, lots of it. She was done covering for Becky's schemes. I sat there listening to Brittany spill everything while recording it. One-party consent state, completely legal. The best part. Becky had no idea her perfect little world was about to implode. Eva's sister Haven called the next day. She was in tears saying Becky had been bad-mouthing me to every potential client in our area, telling them I was running a scam business. Haven had screenshots of texts where Becky literally told people not to work with me because I was under investigation. I wasn't. That was the last straw. I compiled everything, the forged documents, the client complaints, the text screenshots, Brittany's statement, and emailed it all to every real estate agent in Becky's network. CC'd the state licensing board too. Then I waited. It took exactly 47 minutes for my phone to explode. Becky burst into my office around noon screaming about how I was trying to destroy her. The whole building could hear her. I just sat there smiling, remembering her words at my wedding. When she finally ran out of steam, I played the recording from my wedding speech. You know, the one where she called me pathetic. Quite the performance, Becky, I said. Almost as good as today's. She went pale. You set me up. I leaned forward. No, Becky, you did this to yourself. I just made sure everyone saw who you really are. That's when Eva walked in. Perfect timing as always. She'd brought lunch, acting surprised to see her mother there. Oh Mom, I didn't expect to see you here having a nice chat with my pathetic husband. Becky turned to Eva trying to play the victim. Your husband is trying to ruin me. He's turned everyone against me. Eva just laughed, that same laugh from our wedding. No, Mom, you did that yourself. Every lie, every scheme, every nasty comment about Daryl, that was all you. We just made sure the truth came out. Then Eva dropped the bomb. By the way, Dad called. He saw the email. Says this explains why client complaints kept disappearing when he was still your business partner. He's filing an amended divorce settlement. Becky collapsed into a chair, all the fight draining out of her. You can't do this to me. I'm your mother. Watch me, Eva said. You should have thought about that before you tried to ruin my marriage. The fallout was beautiful. The licensing board launched an investigation. Her reputation in shambles. Her business clients fleeing in droves. Her perfect image in the community shattered. But here's the best part. Haven finally stood up to her too. Told Becky she was moving in with us while she finishes college. Becky lost it, screaming about family loyalty. Haven just said, yeah Mom, family loyalty, like when you tried to destroy my sister's marriage. It's been 2 weeks. Becky's license is suspended pending investigation. Her business partner Brittany took half their clients. The other half. They're coming to me. Turns out being pathetic doesn't matter when you run an honest business. Eva's dad Lawson called yesterday. He was laughing. I always knew someone would expose her eventually, he said. I just didn't think it would be my son-in-law. Good job, kid. The icing on the cake. Becky's precious country club friends got the email too. She's been asked to take a break from their weekly gatherings. Apparently they don't want to associate with someone under investigation. Last night Eva and I celebrated with takeout and wine on our back porch. Haven joined us, finally relaxed after years of walking on eggshells around her mother. She asked if we felt bad about what happened to Becky. Eva looked at me, then at Haven. Mom made her choices. She chose to be cruel, to lie, to hurt people. Now she's facing the consequences. That's not our fault. I couldn't have said it better myself. So here we are. My business is thriving. Eva's research is going great. Haven is flourishing away from her mother's influence. And well, Becky's learning that karma hits harder when you help it along. To everyone who said I should have confronted her at the wedding, this was better. Much better.